Oh, and that's when I said, Coby, stay off your foot. It's broken.
It's broken, Coby.
My footsie.
All right, shut up now, pussy. Get over
Hi,
it.
I'm Dan. Welcome to the Slalt Cast. I'm joined today by my fellow co-host, the big boy of Southbound. They call him Timmy No Chin. It's Coby.
It's me. It's
They call him
Coby.
Mr. Crocker.
I'm trying to spice it up with new intros. Now we have the six-toed or four-toed, depending on which story you believe. Wonder Joseph.
It was a farming accident or a freak of nature. Either one.
Either way.
It's a choose your own adventure
And
game.
in the bottom right, the man with the mo who can also sing real good, and then he sung that Rage Against the Machine song like really good, and it kind of took me by surprise, but I feel like it shouldn't have, because he's very talented. It's
And
Kaden.
then I hit that fucking testy pop in the middle of the song that sucked ass. It's me!
I don't know,
No
man,
one
your
heard that.
screams are real good. But anyway, this is the Slalt Cast. We stream this live, normally every Wednesday. We're doing it on a Monday because everyone just happened to be here. And we're like, fucking, let's just do it. That's live on twitch.tv/SlaltCast. You can also catch us wherever you get your podcast. YouTube.com/we don't have a vanity URL, so please subscribe and follow our socials everywhere. Now, Coby, you are broken. Let's get into
I
it.
am broken. Well, should we talk about the weekend first?
I feel like, yeah, we
Let's
should
get right into the news.
right into the news. So
Let's
we
get
got to start
right
from the start. What happened and how and where and when?
Yeah,
So-
I think go through the day.
We'll start on the day before, even potentially.
No, yes. Why don't we talk
Yeah,
about the
Kaden,
whole weekend?
why want you to start? buddy?
Yes. All right, how about this, Coby? I'll talk about Friday.
Yeah.
You talk about Saturday.
And Joseph, you just
Okay.
shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
And then Joseph, you can talk about Jamboree. Oh, wait.
Bum, bum, bum.
That's not a roast that
Yeah,
I'm
that's
going
not
to
a
I
do.
know
roast.
it's not. It's just
It was a
me
really
being
good
dick.
day of me not doing things. Being hungover.
Yeah.
Dying,
So
basically.
our friend Kaden visited us over the weekend.
So
Boo.
we had a fun little weekend, us and the boys. We got together and enjoyed ourselves, and we had a great time. I came down for a gig that was at the Factory Theatre on Saturday, and I was playing with Coby's good old band.
Now,
Sat down, and it
Kaden, what
good
was
fun.
the original date for this Factory Theatre gig?
You know what? I don't even remember, but it
I
was
can
about
tell
a year
you,
ago.
it was March 28th, 2020.
2020. Just a little later. Just a little
Yeah,
later.
Just a little late, you know.
So we had 3 venue changes, and I think we had 3 day changes,
Yes.
4 day changes maybe.
There were 3 different venues, 4 different days. So 2 venue changes and 3.
Yeah, because
So
it
we
was
had-
Carrying Bar, then
We had the
Lansdowne
Carrying Bar,
Factory.
and then we sold all the tickets at Carrying Bar, and was looking forward to it. And then the week before Carrying Bar, we went into lockdown and couldn't do it. So we kind of waited a little while, seeing what happened, and then it looked like towards like the end of the year we could play the show again. And because there were no gigs, because there was nothing happening, Brandon was kind of like, we need to go big and we need to do it better. And we were all like, fuck yeah, let's go, let's send it and do
Well,
it
and
harder.
the lineup for the gig
Radicals.
changed pretty significantly too over those changes, didn't it? It went
Well-
from 4
Well, that
bands
was
to
it.
6
So
bands.
we had the
Yeah.
one gig. We had the one gig at Carrying Bar, and then nothing happened. And then when we wanted to try and actually do it again and play a gig, and one of the first gigs in like a couple months, we were like, let's get a bunch of bands, let's do a big venue, and let's fucking pack it out. So we landed minus the time. We landed Lansdowne, and we got a couple extra bands on the bill and switched it up a bit. And it was looking to be like an epic night. We were really keen, and then we fucking sold Lansdowne out because there was enough of us on the bill, and there was heaps of us involved. And then was it a couple weeks out of the gig?
No, it was looking
It
like
wasn't as close this time.
The
It
second
wasn't
time
that
it
there was
wasn't as close, no. But it was, they called it like a longer way out. Because it was set for like September or something. Yeah.
It was set for September, and March to September, 6 months. We were like, yeah, everything will breeze over. People will be sensible. No one was sensible. So I think it was like the couple weeks before.
Sorry.
Brandon from the Radicals, was like, yeah, we're gonna push it to December, so that just better safe than sorry, because we've got like 350 tickets sold. We can't split the dates because people want to see different bands and the whatnot. That seems like extra work.
So we had to make sure that we could actually like get all the people in at the one stage and actually try to have everyone involved at the one go. We didn't want to break it apart. either do separate sessions. We didn't really want to have to try and separate the days. We just kind of needed it all to happen at once because it would have been cooler, it would have been fun. And to be honest, trying to organize 2 gigs back to back is way more of an effort than trying to organize 1 big gig.
So it got moved to September then, and then from September it got moved to December.
Yep.
Yeah. And then from December,
December. It was literally so. The original gig was, you said what, March 26th, Coby?
March 28th.
28th. So Sydney went into lockdown on March 13th. So for the time frame
sorry, March 20th.
March 20th. It was literally a week before.
Yeah, it was the week of then.
It was the week of because I remember trying to come down and then we all had to cancel flights.
Because it was like we were pushing it up until the very end. We were like, this is going to happen. And then I think it was the Wednesday.
We were still going to play the show because this was our naivety. We were like, we will still play the show even though they're saying that you shouldn't play shows and shouldn't
just get it over and done
because
with.
We're like, we want to play it. They aren't telling us we can't do anything. They're just saying we shouldn't. And then the week of, they're like, okay, it's now law.
I remember we were in the group chat. So this was pre-podcast to give you an idea of how long ago it was. This was longer than 45 weeks ago, which is upsetting. But we were talking in the group chat and we were like, oh, surely you just do a cheeky sneak. They won't close the borders in that week. We said, fucking, like, that was just like the discourse for the whole week. And the next thing you know, Gladys was like, laters.
Fuck this beat. Yeah. So then we were like, fuck it. It has to be, we have to do it. The show, we have one chance, one date change, and that's it. So we moved it to March, fucking last Saturday. We moved it to March, and we had we had to try and find a different venue because we had then sold too many tickets for Lansdowne's current capacity with restrictions. So we had to find a venue that we could fit everyone in and try to put it on. So then we were lucky enough to land the Factory Theatre. Brandon had some good contacts at Factory Theatre to be able to hook it up, and fucking Bob's your uncle. Now we're here.
Yeah. So then December got pushed back because of the second wave. We talked about it in a early podcast.
That was like third wave, the December one.
It was I guess, yeah.
Because it was like the first sort of March, and then there was that little spike in sort of July, August when Melbourne was going up.
Oh, yeah, Melbourne.
And then we had
Melbourne December one, yeah.
Because it started like sort of, what was it? Like late November, then it kind of went in, and
late November. It was getting better at late November, and leading up to the.
We had like 0 cases for like ages. It was like
like we were looking like we were in the clear, and then it was once again literally like the week before. It was like psych.
Yeah,
because I remember we didn't know if my birthday was going to go ahead because we didn't know what was going to happen.
Just listen to that sentence and then think about how we were at the start of quarantine, where you guys were like, "Oh yeah, we'll still be able to go to Europe in June."
I remember that. I forgot about the
later.
whole fucking Euro trip too. Summer reminded me. She's like, I was talking to my family and we were talking about going overseas. And she brought up how I was talking about going to Europe, and I was like, when was I going? Oh,
yeah.
So then Factory Theatre, and then Kaden, do you want to pick up the story from when you came down on Friday morning?
Yeah, so there was some interesting happenings with your hotel.
Yeah, so it was finally happening. We'd organised it, everything was going well. We're coming down, so I flew down on the Friday morning. And my bass player Logan, his girlfriend Emily, my drummer Zane, and his girlfriend Bree all drove down. Just ended up being easier. There was too many of us to fit in one car. We'd already had gift vouchers from our last flight that we booked last time we were trying to go to Sydney. So it all worked. So then we got down early Friday morning. And as Summer and I are trying to get on the plane, I've looked at the Airbnb that we're trying to book, just being like, oh, whereabouts are we staying? Like what town, what street, blah, blah, blah. And what's the place like? And what's the deal with like checking in?
Airplane food.
What's the deal with these airplanes? So upon getting on the plane, as I'm reading this and just checking it out, like before actually boarding, I've been reading through it and I've noticed that it keeps mentioning shared bathrooms and shared open spaces, and I'm like, why are we sharing? I don't want to share. I want my own space. And then after doing a bit of research and just being like, what am I walking into
Bit of
here?
research. He just read the actual description of the thing finally.
He
Yeah,
dove
it was a
deep,
bit of-
okay? There was a bit of research involved.
I
He
read
exceeded
more
the
than the first
expand.
sentence. I
Christ.
finally realized that it was a shared room in an elderly couple, or an elderly woman. I don't know if it was a couple. It was in her house. It was just a single room in her house that I was sharing. And I had no idea. It was a legitimate B&B. She was the host and she was going to look after us. But that was not what I'd signed up for.
No. Especially
Um,
considering, like, you guys were out till, like, 3 a.m. on the Saturday night. Like, that is not ideal
That's
if you're in a share
exactly
house.
That's exactly it. We kind of wanted our own space, do our thing, not have to bug anyone else, and not have to deal with anyone else because A, when you're drunk, you're incoherent. B, when you're tired, you really don't want to be in front of anyone else, or at least you don't want to have to deal with anyone else and try to
Or just a
play happy
stranger.
families, especially
Yeah.
a stranger.
Yeah, especially
Like if it's a stranger, it makes it worse.
Did
So
you just read so you got on the plane and that's the first time you read the description of the Airbnb that you'd already
well, I had
paid
read
for?
it. I went
Look, you
through
can
it
look at
and
the
it
pictures and
explained it.
normally get everything you need.
I went through it and I had a look. I just didn't dive deep enough to realize what it was.
Did you
Um,
not read the whole thing?
I had a bit of
Joseph,
an inkling, I just
words
didn't
are for
realize.
suckers, okay? We don't all have time to be reading and, you know, realizing what we're paying for. And
I
like,
can't wait for Joseph to make this same mistake and then just cop
When
it.
am I going to book an Airbnb?
you're right, he waits for
Boys
other people
trip.
to do it.
Boys trip.
Yeah.
So me being the stubborn optimist I am, was just like the fucking stubborn Optimus Prime. Was trying to,
I'm a truck
I was
now.
trying to,
Sam Witwicky. Sam, you need to get the cube.
Sam Witwicky, you booked a B&B with an elderly lady.
You fucked Megan Fox, that's hot.
Sam Witwicky.
You fucked her on Bumblebee at the end of the first movie and we
Sam
watched
Witwicky.
Sam Witwicky.
Michael Bay was upset that Megan Fox didn't appreciate being hypersexualized in the film, so he fired her. Sam
And then she
Witwicky.
came back for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Sam.
Mr. Witwicky.
They called her a
so-
Nazi. He called her a Nazi.
Which is ironic,
Oh.
because he was the one who's everyone claims is like impossible to work with.
Anyway,
so, me being the stubborn optimist that I am, I was kind of like, it'll be fine. Someone was a little stressed. She was like, dude, I just want our own fucking place, want our own space. And I was just like, oh, look.
Kaden was
okay.
like, the threesome potential.
I was like, it'll be fine. Maybe she won't be there the whole time. I was trying to look for all the good things. In the fucking description, it mentioned that they had a dog named Bentley. And I was like, come on, we got a dog. It'll be great. It'll be fun. We'll be fine. Maybe the space is big enough. We won't have to deal with her and it will be okay. Maybe
But
we'll
you
only
walked
see
in
her
the front
once.
door and the old woman was like, this space ain't big enough for the
So I was just kind of going in with open arms and open eyes, just being like, it'll be fun.
His mind firmly closed.
Yeah.
With open arms and open eyes. So I was kind of looking for the good in it, all of it. So then we'd gotten off the plane. We didn't worry about it. Our next mission was after we'd gotten off the plane, we had to go into Padstow. We had to go pick up some merchandise, some shirts that we got printed, which Dan is wearing as he's pointing out.
Oh shit! Yeah, probably on the shirt.
Whatever way.
But the continuity, Joseph. For those who aren't watching the
Continuity.
video version, Joseph's wearing the same shirt that he's worn for every single podcast recording that we've done on video.
I think it'd have to be like 90% of.
I think there was like a couple where you wore like a Slalt Cast shirt, but other than that, yeah. Kaden, Coby's gesturing at his window, but we'll never know what he means by it.
No, I'm pointing at you.
He's
I'm
pointing at Dan,
Oh.
but he's actually pointing at the guy that's
Hey, Dan,
staring
you
at
want a
him through the
kiss?
window.
You want it? Well,
I
you
can't,
want
hang on,
brothers.
let me, this way. We are brothers. Hang on.
And brothers kiss.
Oh, my frame is so much further.
Do work.
So we had to go into Padstow and we caught a train from the airport, walked about half an hour to
God.
the factory. We got our shirts printed. And then this was, mind you, with our carry-on.
I talk about Caden's optimism. We discussed it earlier in the week. He was like, oh, is someone able to give us a lift to go pick up the shirts, and we're all like, oh, it's fucking during the day on a weekday. It's we're all working, not ideal. And then we're like, oh, you could probably walk it.
It's like asking us to go to Jamboree on a Friday, you know?
A discussion for another time.
So we'd walk to the factory. We got there, and we were all right. We were pretty fine, and we were a little tired. And then we'd walked back, and by the time we got onto the train to get towards the Airbnb, after walking around for nearly an hour with our luggage and now the shirts, I'd got onto the train and I'd looked at someone and I was like, I reckon it's a bit late to try and cancel the B&B. Reckon we try and look for something different. So we got off at the next station and we just kind of sat there and I looked at trying to cancel it. I was lucky enough that the ladies' B&B was pretty lenient. You only got half your money back after cancelling it on the day.
Well, how much was it for the 3 nights? Or the 2 nights you booked?
For 2 nights, I think it was relatively the same as the one we booked. It was like maybe $250.
But like compared to everything else in the area, it must have been significant.
So 125 a night.
Roughly.
Was that like cheaper than everything else? It must have been cheaper than everything else in America. Yeah, you didn't think... Like, I'm trying to be on your side, but you didn't think, wait a minute, something's up here.
It wasn't significantly cheaper, though. It was still relative to the same price as everything else, because the thing that I didn't realise is pretty much all the B&Bs in Marrickville were share houses. Because when I looked at them all, they all kind of said share house, and they all mentioned it. This was the one lady that didn't have share house
like in the title of the thing.
In the title.
Oh, so she was doing it. Okay, we cancelled this lady. What was her name, Kaden?
I'm not gonna say.
I have the address. I'll pull it up.
that makes you a little bit more like favorable, in my opinion. Like,
the first one I've looked at says entire apartment.
Yes, but it costs $6,000.
Yeah,
$99.
There's nowhere to know, Joseph. There's nowhere to know.
So we got off the train, and I was like, "Fuck this! Let's just book another B&B. I don't really want to deal with this lady anymore. I had my fucking optimism. I'm tired. I just want my own space as well."
This poor lady.
So I'd cancelled like literally within an hour of us getting to rock up at her place. I was like, "We'll be there in an hour." Cancel. So Summer looked around at some different hotels and different B&Bs, and we found like. They're like the Ibis budget hotels, which is like the franchise.
Yeah, they used to be the
named after a bin chicken. You know you're gonna get quality.
Yeah. So we went and stayed there because it was cheap, it was affordable, and it was last minute. And we're like, fuck it, it's our own space, it'll do. All we need is a bed and a bathroom, and we'll be fine. So we got there, and like it's definitely called budget for a reason.
Yeah.
The room was probably the same size as this. And the shower/bathroom was literally like a fucking airplane bathroom.
Yep.
Like it's all like plexi, like
just plastic. Yeah.
Plastic.
And when you shit, it gets sucked out of the side of the building, and you're like, "Am I going to lose my intestines if I remain sitting?"
It goes into the KFC and they flour it.
Zinger box. I thought these were supposed to be the white meat.
It was a tiny place. It tastes good. It was a tiny ass place, but it was probably better than the one we were going to stay at because we actually got to have it to ourselves.
Mm.
So it was a fuck around, but then by the time we got there, we were fine, and we got there early enough to where we could just chill. I fucking had a nap. Summer went and ordered some food, got some Uber Eats, and it was all good. And then we'd later organise to go catch up with all you boys out at a friend's place for like just a house party.
Mm.
So we just wanted to kind of relax and chill out and take the day.
And then we introduced you and Zane and Summer and Bree to drinking games that I'm surprised you guys haven't played. And you guys got absolutely bullied.
I got bullied.
Yeah.
I got bullied. I'm going to sit it out there. I don't like to fucking sit there and say that it was all me. But I got bullied.
It's crazy that Kaden was down for less than 12 hours and we bullied him.
I feel like we haven't spoken enough about this hotel room. So I was speaking to Summer at this event that we speak about, and she described like the window situation. So do you want to kind of elaborate further on the layout of this room?
The window was a non-tinted window. It was a square that saw right out to the
Windows.
KFC
I
drive-through.
was gonna say because if we look on the Google Maps here of the so this is the hotel in the middle, and it's surrounded by a KFC and a McDonald's, and all of the rooms face out directly into the thing. So apparently,
God.
So now this is the thing. You would think that that's okay because all you do is you shut the blinds or you close the curtains.
There's no curtains
There was neither.
because it's a budget hotel and people rip the curtains off for some godforsaken reason, so they just don't put the curtains
for
there.
sustenance.
For sustenance.
So yeah.
Have you ever
it was
needed a
funny.
robe?
Yeah, you ever were like,
Yes.
gosh, I'm staying at this budget hotel and I have a toga party I need to go to, and I didn't organize a toga.
Oh.
Oh, the shame.
Oh.
You
So you
know,
were
Friday night out
In
at
fucking St. Peter's.
Yeah, it was in St.
You're like
Peter's.
next to the airport.
Yeah,
That is where they
So
came
was-
from. Yeah.
it was silly that we didn't organize it properly.
Mm.
But no, it was good. We got to chill out before we got out on Friday, and Friday night was fucking funny as. It was a lot of
Yeah.
fun. Playing Rage Cage was fucking so much fun. I love it.
Yeah.
I think
It's such
I
a
think
good
the best
game.
Thing, it's
It
so
is.
much fun.
Do we
It's
want to try
fantastic.
describing the game? Because I'm sure some of the people at home, definitely
I'll
some of the
give it a
people in the
go.
live chat right now. But
All right, look, but okay, describe the game.
Okay, so what we're
but
gonna
let's
do-
make it
we're gonna
as
do-
incoherent as
well,
possible.
no, we're gonna do two different segments. I'm gonna put 90 seconds on the clock, and then
Oh, each
Alright,
of us are gonna have a
no,
go.
oh, I was gonna say Kaden can have a go explaining it, and then Joseph can have a go explaining it, and
Okay.
then just whatever happens. So
Alright.
hang on, let me.
Will I
So-
see 90 seconds on the live stream?
No, I think you could just. time it.
You can go into the Discord
No,
and
the
watch
one
it
on
from
Discord.
Yeah. That's where he's gonna put the timer.
The live stream Discord.
Yep.
Yeah. You just press 90. Oh, okay.
Hang on. I think I can show the kids too. Okay. Are you ready? Are you ready, Kaden?
Alright.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. Commence.
Alright. Rage Cage. Drinking game. Lots of drinks. You've got red cups all in the middle in a big fucking hexagon shape. Alright? Boys were arguing about hexagons and triangles. That's what I remember. So you have one cup.
Shape.
You have one cup in the middle that's full of drinks. A fuck ton of everything. Little bit of this, little bit of that. You put it in the middle.
King's
You've
Cup.
got cups all around it, filled up with a little bit of something. Just one drink, cruiser, beer, whatever. So then the aim of the game is there's two people on either side of the table that have a ping pong ball and one of the cups from the center. You count down from 3, everyone gets hyped, and you fucking scull the drink and you put it down. And then what you have to do is you then have to bounce the ball into the cup and then pass it along. As soon as you land the ball in the cup on the first go, you can then pass it to anyone around the table. If you don't get it in on the first go, you have to then pass it to the person on the second. Pass to the person to the next of you anytime you get it in after the first. Now, what makes the game fun is if the cups catch up to each other, when you stack them on, the person who then has to get the cup stacked has to drink from the fucking center pile of drinks and pass the cup off to the left. What fucks you is if you catch it on the first go and you're right next to the person who's also got a cup, you then put it in front of them so that when you land it in eventually, it has to catch up and you just keep stacking and stacking and stacking on top of this one person in the middle and fuck them.
Time's up. Time's up. You actually did a really good job.
You described strategy more than the actual game.
Yeah, I was gonna say we didn't get to the finish states, and I feel like you had too much time. So what I'm gonna do is
Yeah, just put me a minute.
I'm gonna
Put it in a minute.
give Joseph 40
Oh,
seconds because he
Oh,
asked for
okay.
a minute. So fuck him. Okay,
Okay.
that's not how any of this works. Joseph,
Alright.
you can. Okay, you are not allowed to just pick up from where Kaden left off. You have to start
I
from
was
the.
gonna- I was
You
gonna
have
go
to
from the
start from the
start.
very start and go
Yeah.
again.
All right, so you have for each person playing, you have 3 red cups in the middle. Basically, doesn't matter what they are, you know. Then there's 2 cups on each side with drinks, or on opposite ends with drinks in them, and the 2. Well, last week we sculled them to whoever started first, and then basically you got to try and bounce it into the cup. And if you get it first go, you can move it wherever. But if it takes more than one go, you have to just go to your left. So you keep going around until basically when they catch up, if you bounce it and you like basically catch up with the person, they have to take a drink out of the middle. Or yeah, so there we go. That's it.
So neither of you described how the game ends.
So,
I
like,
didn't have enough time.
Joseph, you brought that on
ends.
yourself.
I said a minute.
I'll give it a go because this is the fun part. I actually fucking really like this game. It's a lot of fun.
It is honestly the best drinking game like I've ever played.
This is the thing, right? It only really works if everyone's hyped. The fact that all you boys were getting hyped and everyone was getting
it's because we love it,
chanting. And that's the thing. If you're getting into it.
Just before we finish explaining, a quick aside that we were down the coast like in between waves 2 and 3 of COVID one time, and it was like the third day of the trip. So normally that's like the day everyone's a bit dusty. Like we had it was the Sunday. We had a massive night on Saturday, and we went to the Bottle-O, and then our mate Blake, he comes up to me and he's like, "Oh, Dan, I'm thinking of getting some cruises." I'm like, "Oh, Blake, you thinking of getting some cruises?" And then I turned to Doug and I'm like, "Oh, should we get some cruises?" And we decided, "Fuck yeah, let's get some cruises." So we get a shit ton of cruises. We bring them back and we set up Rage Cage and we play like 4 games back to back. I think everyone playing vomits.
People
like paralytic, like it's brutal. So yeah, so
after the second game, like I'll say it now, after the second game I threw up, and we'll get to the end of the game in a sec. Only because I had consumed that much liquid in a short amount of time that it was not staying down.
No, that's because it's both. You're not necessarily drinking like a fucked up mix of alcohol unless you lose, which you're going to get to eventually. It's happening, guys. Stay tuned. Don't touch that dial. No, but it's also like the speed at which, if you're in the cage, the speed at which you're drinking is like what'll get you, and you have to like drink and then immediately focus.
Yeah, I was so
when
flustered.
People like try and get you.
Yeah, so like if
into a thing, they're bullying you. They're trying to.
It's essentially where I was saying, where the person who's got the big stack of cups, if they get the stack on them, they then have to pass that cup off to the left and then start taking another drink.
And drink one, and then they have to keep playing though, so they still have the cup. And then if the person who they passed it off to gets it in the first try, they can move the stack right back to behind them. And if that person gets them before they finish their drink and sink another ball, then they get done again. And the more drinks that you have, the drunker you get, the worse your aim gets. You're also like a bit bamboozled. So it's very easy to get into the rage cage.
And then the taller that it gets means that if you get stuck on it, it's always eventually going to come up. It's such a perfectly balanced game.
Mate, right games could take a fucking lesson.
It's the pinnacle of gaming.
But anyway, how does the Coby? How does the failure state? How's the lost state of the game work?
So if you have a ping pong ball, there are 2 ways to lose. One is more common than the other. But because there's heaps of cups in the center, if you get a ping pong ball into the center, you then have to drink one of those cups, even if you haven't been stacked. So if you landed into the big cup, the King's Cup, then you'd have to drink that. You automatically lose. The game is over.
So that's like the golden snitch. If you fuck up and you accidentally bounce it into the King's Cup, you lose.
And you have to be a certain kind of stupid to do that.
Because it's very easy to just not bounce it in that direction.
Yeah. But then it gets to a point where if it's when that one's the last cup left, if you're stacked, it's the only cup that you have to drink. So usually when it's down to the last 5 cups, everybody's playing the mental game of how many does it have to take to get to me and who can get it in on the first go.
Yeah, because sometimes it's advantageous when you get to the end there to kind of hold it to let the other cup move far enough around the circle that there's like a less likely chance that if this person gets got and this person can't throw, so it'll be on there for a bit. And you can move it around, and so like there's like a significant amount of strategy to this game, but also you're drunk and your decision making is very impaired. Yeah,
like the best bit, like you can get through it without like having a drink.
Well, that's in one of the games that Brooke was playing, and she didn't have anything to drink.
Yeah.
So it was like when I first played, the first round that we played, I had no idea what was going on. We just learned, and I was right next to Dugan, and I was right next to Lachlan, and they fucking destroyed me because they both knew what they were doing. Dugan's pretty good at the game, and fucking Lachlan's Lachlan. He could just
good at everything.
Good at everything. So,
are we talking about Boma or?
Yes.
We don't know any other Lachlans.
We didn't. Yeah, well, it could have been both, to be honest.
True. So basically, I tried to get it in. I think I got it in on the second go, and then it took me a while to get it in at first, and then I passed it off to Boma. Boma waited. He tried to get it in. He didn't get it in on the first. No, he got it in on the first go.
But he waited to make the move.
He waited until Dugan got the cup on the other side, and then Dugan got it in. So then they switched. I got Dugan's cup. Boma got Dugan's cup.
So 2 people got Dugan's cup.
I got Dugan's cup. Boma.
Dugan got
Dugan
bonus
his
cup. Yeah.
So then I was already in the cage from the start. So then I was like, oh, fuck. Okay, I've just taken a drink. I'm just taking a second one. All right, I'll keep going. And I missed, and I was trying to get it in, and then Dugan caught up to me, stacked me on. I had to pass it off to Boma. I then got a new drink. Went again. Boma got it on the first go. Passed it across.
Caden's in the cage. In the cage. Caden's in the cage.
No. I fucked up.
And then what's even better is you lost that game.
No, I lost the second game.
Oh.
I won I didn't lose the first one.
He didn't. There's no winners. There's just a loser.
No, Bree fucking
Bree died. Yeah.
Bree got bullied as well. She got the fucking first cup.
Yeah, and obviously there's like, if you get the last cup, you're not allowed to, take your time and sip that. It's a good old fashioned peer pressure chug.
It's like beer pong where you can sort of,
where you can like nurse it for a bit. No, it's because we want to play again and we need to reuse the cups. So in the middle, it's always an unfortunate mix. Like Kaden explained this, but like to elaborate, it was like beers, 4 different cruiser flavors. Luckily, there wasn't any like liquor out like there normally is, because sometimes it's like 3 shots of tequila, a vodka,
and down the coast.
Yeah, but then it was just an unfortunate mix. Like Blake had soju, there was beer, like different types of beer, different flavored cruisers, and like Smirnoffs and stuff in there. It was just an upsetting like taste mixture, and also doesn't sit nice in the tummy.
So I got put in the cage to start with, and I got abused. And then eventually I caught the hang of the game. I knew I was working with the ball. It was easy to get in after that point.
Yeah, he was.
And I wasn't too drunk at that point because nothing had hit me. So I'd gotten out of the cage and I was okay. So I passed it along, and Summer had to go. She had to get a couple drinks, then passed it to the boys. Some of the boys had some drinks. Zane had to go, Brie had to go, and then they eventually got some drinks to themselves because they kept missing. And then it went back around to me. I almost got put in the cage a second time, but I'd landed it. And by the time it got around to me the second time, it was pretty empty. We'd gone through a lot of the drinks. So then, unfortunately, it went down to Brie, and Brie got fucked up, and Zane stuck her in the cage at the last minute. Well, didn't put her in the cage, but stacked the cup right next to her, and she had to drink the last cup. And she did it like a fucking champ.
Yeah, no, that was impressive.
But by the time she finished the next cup,
the game was already set back up.
We're ready to go again. Round 2, baby.
I told you we needed the cups again.
So we'd gotten into it. And
this game doesn't have a refractory period. It can go a second time.
By the time we'd started the second game, we were well underway. We knew what was going on. We had it all worked out. And I thought I was doing good. And then towards the end, I got put in the cage again. And then I got the last cup, and it fucked me up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Kaden did a cheeky spew on the deck.
Yeah.
I didn't even have time to process it. By the time I finished the drink, everyone stopped cheering and stopped chanting, sorry.
I was gonna say, I remember like the chant ended and like Kaden drinking was like, yay, and we all like lost interest and like I like turned away, and then I just hear someone's like, oh, Kaden's spewing. I turned back and there's like spew and he's hanging over the railing. I'm like, oh my god, I was still looking away for like 3 seconds.
It's so fucked. It happened so quickly. So I was just fucking projectile over the fucking balcony, and I felt so bad. And then I took like 2 minutes, fucking get myself sorted, and I was like, hey, I actually feel really good right now. I feel great. Picked up the beer and kept going.
My man.
It was
that was
funny.
Friday night.
So that's basically the event of the Friday night. We just had a good old time with our friends we hadn't seen in a while.
Now we'll get to the weekend.
It was nice.
Yeah, now the weekend begins.
Dun, 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 dun,
12:01 Saturday morning, the weekend begins.
Well, no, technically it'd just be 12.
No, because we don't know what time that belongs. Which
no,
day that belongs to.
11:59 is the end of the day.
Is it?
Also, I'll say this now.
I don't care that you broke.
Zane, Bree, and Summer all had like a lot of fun.
That's
on
good.
Friday night. They enjoyed the fuck out of it. I enjoyed the fuck out of it.
It was good.
Sydney house parties.
One of the best parts about this weekend was like we've met like Zane and Logan and like Bree and Summer and I feel bad. What's Logan's got? Emily. Yeah,
Emily.
We've met them all before, but like we didn't really have context for who they were.
Exactly.
But like
didn't
now,
actually get to sit down and
we only saw them at the gig. So we didn't get to have a chance to chat, like the gig they played last time they were down, so we didn't have a chance to chat to them. This time, like Zane was at the party, so like I had spoke to him there, like and his girlfriend Bree and Summer, and then like at the gig, Logan and Emily were there, and I had a good chat with like Logan, and it was awesome to finally meet the boys.
Yeah, it was just nice to be able to sit down and drink and chat with everyone, play some drinking games, have casual drinks after that, and just fuck around and have some fun.
So then
Good time.
Saturday morning, woke up,
Jump
got off
out
the
of
couch.
bed, put on
I got
my
off the
best
couch.
suit.
Anyone else hungover Saturday morning? I was.
Very,
I
very.
woke up.
I was
just
I woke
tired.
up on the couch.
I didn't.
Do you
I was
guys want to
pretty-
hear a bit of foreshadowing? When I was woken
say
up at
foreshadowing.
5 a.m. Because I slept I slept at the place that we had the party at.
Yeah, you did.
And I
Yeah,
had
you did,
two
big
and I had
boy.
two
Yeah,
cramps
boy.
in my leg, but especially one bad in my right leg that followed me for the rest of the day. Bit of foreshadowing there. So that night we had the gig at Factory Theatre Marrickville. Dan's mic is muted. Dan has muted his mic.
Just go. Just
Alright.
keep talking.
I thought he was
You
saying
fucking
something. I'm
idiot.
sorry.
Kobe, I know that you feel lost without me.
Because you weren't like looking to the side
You
like you were
fucking
talking to
idiot.
somebody. You kind of just like looked at your keyboard and started talking. And
Yeah, I
didn't
know.
if you...
I'm telling it it's a good boy.
Oh,
It's
okay.
a good boy. It needs
Yeah,
to know.
so I didn't know if you'd like accidentally pressed a button.
Kobe, I've never done anything by accident in my life except for like the 3 false starts to this podcast.
Yeah, that is true.
And all of the other various accidents I've done
Yeah.
over the years. Other than them. Intention.
So it was at the Factory Theatre in Marrickville. Returned there, set up. Everything was. I don't really know how to give context to the day.
Well, what
Nothing
time?
really
Because
happened.
me and Joseph had a different day to what you guys had. So what
Yeah.
happened for you guys? You pulled up at about what time?
So Dylan and I pulled up at about 2:30. We were setting up backstage. Started setting up the stage as well. Kaden and stuff got there at about 3:30 ish. And then the night kind of began at about 4:30 or 5. Yeah, about 5. So
I think
what
that was
we-
the time the first band went on there. Yeah.
Yeah. What was it? Yeah. I don't know. I have no fucking clue. Oh no, the first band went on at 6:15. The afternoon was kind of like the entire day was kind of really slow leading up to when like it kind of
snowball. It was like
Yeah.
But then when it all happened, it all happened.
when it all happened it kind of just went
It went,
so
no,
yeah,
no,
when-
then
and then I woke up 6 hours later
no
with-
pants in an alley,
in Hong Kong,
which is not
Looking over
China.
him.
which is not China. Well,
Oh,
No, so while you guys were doing that, Joseph and I and a group of our friends had stumbled across this fine bar in Marrickville,
it was
which
possibly
didn't have pokies, which, you know,
which is a good thing, but I think possibly one of the best bars. Well, best. Sorry,
It was-
best
it was
bars.
like-
what was the bar? What was it called?
The Henson. I feel like we
The
should have like a
Henson.
boys' day. Like a.
it was
Okay.
a very
Boys'
good
Day
vibe.
dance.
The food was nice. The vibes were nice.
Yeah,
The
they were
beers
very good
were
vibes.
apparently relatively well priced compared to the rest of Marrickville.
So because Dan and a couple of our mates came a bit later because on the night, the Friday night, I was like, yeah, we should go in and we'll like go into Newtown or something earlier. Like when I said that, I meant like 2:00. Like get in there, get basically by the time the band started, already be blind. And everyone no one really responded to that well.
Well, it was
So it
kind
got-
of like hangover.
Yeah, because I think everyone like.
And also, I had like
so
uni
was I.
work and stuff to do during the
Look,
day.
I
That day.
was gonna say that first beer went down like fucking knives in my throat. It was not a nice. The first beer hurt. After that, it was fine. But then so then I get a message from our mate Braden, friend of the Slalt Cast, previous member. Oh no, not of Southbound. Technically not
of Muir Fighters.
of Muir Fighters.
Yeah.
Which was the predecessor to the predecessor of Southbound.
Yeah.
So then he goes, "Oh, I'm going to my sister. She lives in Marrickville. Come with, like, we'll drive in and then we'll go to a pub that's nearby." So it was actually his idea to go to Henson. So we drove there, and this was like 3:30. So we were there. We were basically at the pub by about 4. So we're there, beers on, beautiful. And then I get a message from Dan. "Why aren't you at the train station?" I was like, "What do you mean? Why? I'm already in Marrickville." And he goes, "Oh, I thought you were meeting us at the train station." I'm like, "No, I sent it in the chat. I'm already here." And then that's when Dan.
Your message was
realized
very
he'd made a
misleading. It was like,
mistake.
me and Braden are going to this place, is what your message said. And I was like, oh, I guess we'll all go there. I guess. And then I sent a Snapchat to you. I'm like, train coming, and you're like already at pub. I'm like, oh.
So it was good. And then you guys sort of came.
We pulled up, had some food.
Pulled up, had some food, had a couple beers, and then we made the 5-minute walk to the
Began the voyage.
thing, which the factory theater is cool.
And we arrived to the factory theater. We walked through the gates, present our tickets, and I turn to my left and I see our friend Coco getting a haircut.
It was very confusing.
There was a guy doing haircuts there. I don't know if that's a thing that happens.
I presume
there,
it's a thing,
or if it was because of Mardi
Gras. That's like a bougie thing.
Because it was also Mardi Gras weekend over the past weekend. Yeah. Which is I had totally forgotten about it, and we went to a pub. And it was packed, and I'm like, oh wow, this is uncharacteristic. And I saw somebody with a rainbow choker kind of thing, and I went, it's because we're in Marrickville. And then we walked outside, and it was like, oh, it's Pride. Oh, it's fucking what's the name, Mardi Gras. Oh fuck, I forgot about that. So it was packed. There was nowhere to sit, so we just went to a pizza place. But yeah, Tex was fantastic.
So the lineup was Tex, the Fergies,
Southbound, Verum, Dog Pound,
and Radicals.
So Tex is a 2-piece from Wollongong. They sound fucking sick. I didn't really chat to them.
They left
Do you hate them too?
Was a bit annoying.
Are we adding another band to Kobe's hate list?
I don't know. I don't know.
It's canon. Kobe hates the Tex.
I hate the Texas. I hate the Texans.
Yeah, they. Did you hear that they're like COVID over, and then everyone was like, "No, it's not," and he's like, "COVID over, COVID over."
They sounded really cool, and then the Fergies sounded really awesome. They're a band.
Oh, my internet's gone again. My internet's back. Sorry, I cut out for a period of time there.
Ben did cut out. Did
not
the stream
sure.
hear me, or?
The recording's still going, and you were like, the text is the stream isn't live, but the recording's still going.
The recording's going. You're talking about Fergie's song.
Yeah. And then we played, and this is kind of when the theater started to fill up a little bit. Do I keep talking?
Yeah, keep talking. Okay. For straight back.
Okay. Yeah, so the theater started to fill up when we just before we went on. And it was a great set. I think we played really well.
Well, run us through the song list and any major events that may have happened during any of the songs, perhaps relating to stage maneuvers.
So, yeah, we started with Patient Zero,
banger,
big opener,
big
banger.
The songs that you guys have played, so like Patient Zero, Dreamland, Bamboo, which you've played at like every gig that you've done as Southbound. Like you guys are getting like you guys don't really practice that often as a band just because of like scheduling and stuff.
Calm down. What the fuck's
No, sorry,
there?
I was my brain. I know you guys have like scheduling issues, and so like just between each live performance, you guys get so much better every time. Not to mention all of like the new stuff that you're doing, and then it's crazy how good your performance is getting.
Thank you.
It's funny, like we were talking about it after your set. I said it to Logan, and I even said it to Duke, and I was like, "Holy fuck!" It blew me away. I was super impressed, and I was gonna cry. I was legit about to come up behind stage, fucking shake your dick and cry.
Damn. Why didn't you? Why didn't you shake my dick,
Well,
Kaden?
because of what happened, Kobe. Keep talking.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So nothing big eventful. We played Dark Necessities. Dylan sung that one.
He's getting better in that every time too.
Yeah. I screwed up the solo. I played the wrong notes. Yeah.
It was only like the first. Like,
it was real weird. Like Dark Necessities was happening, and then it got to the solo, and then Wonderwall, and then like it transitioned out of it. No one really batted an eye.
Wait,
and then
what?
after that,
I'm joking. You fucking idiot.
I was like, wait, did it transition to and I was that blind, I didn't know.
Then we played a song called Untitled. That one was alright.
You fucked up the intro on that.
Yeah,
normally you say this song doesn't have a name, it's called Untitled. And it's like my favourite part of your set, like that bit.
Sorry.
And
I forgot the words, the beginning of the words to that song too. I walked up to the mic and then I'm like, I've got a mental blank. And I looked at Jeremy, our drummer, and I'm like, oh fuck. And then I'm like, that's it. I was all alone. Yeah, okay. And I'm walking back up to the mic as it's coming back around, and then I forget it again. And I pick up like directly after that. I caught myself, but I was like, what the fuck's wrong with me, dude? So then we went that, no dramas. Then we did a song about a bridge, it's really unimportant, no dramas. Then we got to...
The bridge in question mentioned that on the walk back home, and how much she may or may not enjoy or not enjoy that song, and it's very funny. It's very funny.
Jeremy has video of the one line where everybody started cheering, and it makes me smile every time I hear it.
Well, I have a video. There was a video on my Snap story, and like 8 people sent it to the bridge in question.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Do you have it?
Yeah, I saved it.
Yeah,
send it to me. But so when you played that certain line that you say, I literally like leaned in between that certain bridge and Gemma, and I was like, man, it's fucking awkward, this song, but God does it boss.
You can hear it. You can hear it in the thing that Dan sent or something.
Yeah, because the video is literally that bit. It's like I'm zooming in on Coby, and then that line happens. I pan to you, and we're like, yeah.
And then that song like directly transitions into a song called Fireball. And then at the end of it, I'm like,
really good song.
Thank you. At the end of it, I'm like, I'm gonna do a big jump when we.
It's crazy that you guys managed to get Pitbull. Like that really fucking.
Yes,
and then I ended up in this thing because as I jumped,
Well, for audio listeners, it's a boot he's showing.
It's a boot I'm showing.
And not like one that you'd step on nuts with, like one when you hurt your foot.
This is one that fixes your foot.
I'm sure you could, but like it's such a wide surface area on the bottom. I feel like you can really nail it.
So as I jumped, I landed, and I slipped on one of the cords, and I rolled my ankle like on the outside, and I fell, and I kind of did the splits motion.
And from the audience perspective. Go ahead, Kaden.
Pardon?
Was it on my cable that I borrowed?
No, it was on my cable. I hit it with my left, and the unbalance got me to do my right because I landed first on my left, and then like, fuck my right.
It was very funny.
Well, from the audience perspective, so Coby does this jump in this part of the song every time. So like we knew it was coming, and then when it happened and it went awry, we all noticed.
Like 3 minutes.
It wasn't like 3. So he landed it.
It was just like 5 seconds.
He like stumbled and then he was down on his knees, but then you like played it off like you were fucking with something on the ground. So we're like, is he like down at his pedal board or something? Like what's he doing?
Get up and wince.
Well, and he gets up and he like slightly limps. But the next song you were playing is
drums. It was on drums.
Yeah, Don't Look Back in Anger, and so he has to swap it on. So Coby gets on the drums and Jeremy goes onto the keyboard and he does the vocals for that one. So it was like, I feel like if people didn't know, it was like, he kind of fumbled the jump, but like they were like switching anyway, so it didn't look that bad, and we were all kind of unsure at how bad it was. And to your credit, you fucking stuck out the rest of the set.
Of the show, I have no idea how I did it. Looking back, like the entire experience,
adrenaline.
It was there was a lot of adrenaline involved, but like the entire experience, it was never like visceral pain that I was feeling. Like even when I did go home, it wasn't like I couldn't walk. I could still like make my way around.
You still have adrenaline. It's the second day that you get cooked.
So do you want to talk about fully? So like the rest of the set happens. It was fucking sick.
So the rest of the set happens. I'm dancing around and stuff like that. I'm being really
like
cautious,
you were still on your feet though, which is like impressive. Yeah.
I was still moving around because I want to always give it my all. Because I'm sick like that.
He is pretty cool.
Anyway, then Kaden played. That's unimportant, but it is important to this story.
We'll get to the Kaden playing, but like, so you came down after your set.
I came down. I packed up my shit. Everybody was like, "That's sick," and I'm like, "Yeah, I know. I'm really good at what I do. Thank you."
And we're like, "My God, you're so humble."
Yeah. Fuck.
And he punched us out for getting him the wrong food.
Yeah, and then it was cold too. So then I beat my wife.
And then Amazon was like, "We'll give you and your friends a show."
So I went and sit down. I went and sit down, and I was sitting down normally, and I was like, "Yeah, my ankle's not feeling that great." And I look at it, and it's swollen, and I go, ugh.
Oh,
And then I
was
put it up.
swollen?
I put it up to show people, and I didn't like look at it with a flashlight on, and it's kind of dark.
And then
somebody,
everyone that's like
somebody
played
got their
sport felt
flashlight
it.
out. Somebody got their flashlight out and shined the light on it, and there was this massive bruise just underneath the ankle, and it was maybe like the size of a baseball.
Because you were like, oh, look, it's swollen. So I've put my hand over it, and I couldn't like wrap my hand around it.
Yeah.
Like,
Here's an image from the next day.
That's the morning after.
That's the morning after, and like the swelling has gone down since then. If you're not watching the video version, head over to the YouTube. But like it was,
or he's got cankles.
it was large.
So, I sat down and I was like to Summer, because Summer is the best mum. She was like, "Do you want me to get you ice?" And I'm like, "Yes, please." So I had it elevated. She bought me ice, and I had ice on it. And our friend Dom, who we said was getting a haircut, didn't realize
finished his haircut.
Well, yeah, he did. Didn't realize the severity of somebody who has ice on their ankle and is elevating it on the seat in front of them, and thought it was a fantastic idea to just sit back with all of his
He didn't notice it.
I mean, it's kind of hard to notice, because then when I said, "Dom, move," he went, "No, you'll be fine, mate." And I'm like, "No, this is not fine, move." And then he kind of got pissed at me. Anyway, and then he walked off. And then he walked off, right? I don't know why he didn't just sit in the seat adjacent, which was an option. And then our other friend Mitch sat in the seat, on the left of where my foot was. So my foot, Mitch, and then nobody was sitting on the right. Mitch kept like going, you're all right. Just let someone sit there. And I'm like, no. Anyway, Dom comes back, sits where Mitch was sitting because Mitch left, and started just like pounding on my foot, like accidentally, of course. Like, but it's like,
well, this was during Kaden's set, and we were vibing like violently.
Yeah, everybody was vibing.
My neck is still like sore from the vibes.
Yeah.
and it didn't help that Logan's bass tone was so heavy that it was rattling my ankle too, and it just didn't feel good. So at some point in the set, I just got up and hobbled my way to the back where the merch store was, where the merch desk was, and just sat with them.
We don't speak about the merch desk.
No, the merch. No, this is different.
We don't speak about the merch. Slalt.com, but we don't speak about the merch desk.
Sorry. The merch table.
Yeah, there we go. Better.
Merch table with M, Brie, and Summer. And then, Kaden, do you want to speak about your set and the rest of the night?
Yeah, sure. Our set was pretty fun. It was ridiculous. It was the first time that we'd played in like a really high budget production. So I was like, I really want to see how well we can play.
Well, to give an idea, like this is the Factory Theatre. The Factory Theatre is basically one step before like the Enmore and stuff, which is like one step before the stadiums. You're basically like two steps from stadiums playing at the Factory Theatre. So and like it has like, we're in like their big auditorium, and there's like a video wall and everything, and normally you can fit quite a volume of people in there. So it was a big show. It
was ridiculous. So like it was a lot of fun. Our set was fucking great. We had some fun, threw out some antics, some shits and gigs and stuff like that. Like honestly, one of our best sets for a while. One of my favorite sets. It was a lot of fun. There was two things that I'll say that was a bit annoying that happened. One, we missed the very end like scream part for Placebo because we sculled the drink and then we have like an interlude to lead into it to kind of like rev it up and make a bit of noise, and then I scream and fucking intro the next part. And I guess we just miscommunicated, and Zane thought we were starting and just counted it in, and we were like, oh fuck, okay. And just started it. And then my fucking string breaking at the end of the set was a bit annoying too.
Yeah, it was very funny, but we were like at peak vibes, and they're like, one more song, and Kaden was like, issue, string broken.
I don't have enough string.
So who was that? Did like Brandon jump up and grab you his guitar?
Yeah, Brandon gave me his guitar just to do it, because it was like the closest one, and he was the first person to jump up.
Yeah,
so it was nice.
It was like Kaden was like, oh, we can get another guitar, we can do another song. And then like three people sprint out in front of the things.
Homer sprinted like around backstage. I don't know whose guitar he was going to get. I didn't know whose it was going to be.
But I was just going to go the nearest thing. It's like, this is a baseball at work.
And then Brandon just kind of ran and jumped up onto the stage and ran backstage and then ran back out, sort of thing.
No,
but it was very funny. very funny seeing Boma just like use his long legs and stride away, and then you just see him walking
Just
back
into the
kind of
sunset.
defeated.
Yeah.
he definitely. I mean, fucking Brandon saved us definitely. But no, the set was fucking
Hear that,
awesome.
Coby?
It was a lot of fun. It was really good to be able to play for everyone and actually like show the material that we've been working and fine tuning
Your
for
dark
like
material.
a solid year. Dark necessities. So it was really fucking cool. It was a lot of fun. It was good seeing all the boys get into it. And
It was like this is the
actually
first time we've seen
seems-
Kaden's been in like 14 months. The last time we saw him was November of 2019.
2019. Yeah.
So like 14,
Yeah,
15 months.
fucking
And
long
since then,
ass
you
time,
guys have improved
guys.
like fucking. I mean, like Southbound have improved. You guys are like at another level because you guys have been playing like weekly gigs, like at least since
We've got
then.
a lot of stage experience now.
Yeah,
That's the
like-
thing. We've got a lot of experience under our belt, which is really
And you've like
nice.
released music like properly and stuff since then. And it was just crazy the level that you guys are at now. It was really awesome seeing you.
Aw,
Yeah, it was really good.
thanks.
Can I
Thank
bring
you.
something up that really grinded my gears?
Okay.
Give it to me,
The
mate.
fact the fucking Seki. Okay, I get it. We can't stand up. But why does having a backstage pass mean that some people could stand up? Like it just doesn't make sense at that point.
What?
Like it's like
So the bands and the merch people had like press passes basically, and
Yeah.
and
we
the
were
Seki,
allowed to stand.
if anyone not wearing one of those fucking like raised a millimeter out of their chair, the Seki like fucking tackled them into their seat and beat the shit out of them. That may or may not be an exaggeration. But then like Kaden and Coby are just fucking strutting around like they own the place.
Well,
Yeah.
I wasn't.
Well, no,
Yes.
yeah, Coby was injured, but
No. So like we were told that you could stand as long as it was in front of your seat, and it wasn't like, you know what I mean?
well, yeah.
But I
So
guess that-
Dog Pound was like, everybody get on your feet because I assumed they'd received the same message. And the
Yeah.
Seki heard that, fucking went into like Terminator mode and just fucking shit
Yeah.
down. Very funny.
So there was a bit of miscommunication from like people, but that's just because the rules are still kind of
Iffy.
But like,
Well, we're
There's a
like
lot
1
of-
week
I
out.
was standing up next to like so the people at the merch table, so like all the girlfriends and stuff, and I think some of the boys were around, and so standing up having a chat, and helping sell and like being a smart ass to people who come over and buy merch, and then they're like, sit down, you don't have a press pass, and you know what, they solved COVID. That's how they
They
did it.
did.
I sat
I
down.
mean,
and
look, fair
it
enough.
solved
Like, they
COVID.
don't. There's like massive fines for them, and it's not worth it. And
exactly.
like
The
we're
hard
like
part-
a week out from the restrictions being lifted, so we don't want
Yeah.
something to fuck it
Yeah, I
up.
know, but it's like,
But it's just like, damn, we
at
haven't
this
seen Kaden in
point-
ages. You're killing the vibe.
Yeah.
It was
The
like
hard
at this
part-
point now, it's been 50 days. Like last time we went back into like standing.
but it's still
was, like,
I think it's the
5
law.
days
If
of
they're not
no-
going to break the law at such a large venue and like risk,
But
Taking
Coby,
a
I
big-
am the law.
he's right.
Well, that's
you
the
are a
thing.
law.
Like, this is the thing, and this is what we realized playing shows up here and like going through that motion of being in lockdown and being in those restrictive phases, then going back to normal, then going back into restrictive phases. Is at the end of the day, the venue owners and the staff and all that, no one has any fucking idea what's going on. We just do what we're told because that's just gonna keep
Yeah,
us
like
from
they have their
having
own
to
like
pay-
backs to watch. Yeah.
Yeah,
We-
it was
Yeah.
just
we don't wanna
fucking
pay all
annoying.
these
Like,
fines, we
It
don't wanna
it
fucking-
doesn't make a difference. Like
It doesn't make a
I know.
difference, but it's
I know.
like it's.
But if
being
it did,
mandated
it's like it
by the
would.
government.
Yeah.
It's
Anyway,
just
so the
annoying.
way the gig ended, that was Radicals, like which they were the last band to play, and we've seen them a couple times now, and they always end their set with "Killing in the Name" by Rage Against the Machine, and a fun
they
little
this
thing they
time?
do. Yes, they did. A fun little thing they do
Oh.
is they'll pull someone out of the audience to get up and sing for them, like, and so
Do
normally
they
like.
do that every time?
Yeah, so the past
Yeah.
couple of times it's just been like one of their mates and stuff, and like one of the first times we saw him, they pulled out one of their mates who was a bigger bloke, and he was like out of breath by the second verse. And
Oh,
it
it's
was-
Dan. They bring up Dan.
Anyway, so they're like getting into Killing in the Name, and he's like, Kaden, get on stage. And we're like, fuck yeah, here we go. Kaden gets on there, and my god, if I wasn't already impressed with your vocal performance, you fucking killed it up there, man. You were like screaming and
Yeah.
shit, like proper. It was very cool.
Thank you. I appreciate it. No, it was cool. It was really fun. I didn't expect it because Brandon was like, because I had asked him at the start, like when we were doing sound check, me, Brandon, his bass player, Nick, Zane and Logan were all sitting next to each other while Dog Pound was doing their sound check. No, yeah, it was Slalt Cast. And I'd asked Brandon, I was like, hey, you're going to do a Rage Against the Machine cover? Because we were planning to do a Rage Against the Machine cover, and I didn't know if it was going to be awkward. I didn't want to play a Rage song and then him be like, fuck, now we can't play a Rage song, or be like, wanted to just know what he was doing. And he was like, oh, yeah, if we got time, I might do it at the end of the set. And I was like, fuck yeah, that'd be mad. And then when he was going to go do it, he hit me up and was like, hey, dude, do you want to come sing Rage Against the Machine with us at the end of the set? It's like, if you got time for it, we'd love to do it. I was like, sure, bro, just let me know. I'll fucking jump up. I was just like, it was funny. It's an easy song to remember.
Well, there's like 8 words in the song.
Yeah.
There's 8 words to the song, but immediately I was in like panic. I was like, wait, where are the words go?
but it is like you can like vibe it out. Like I feel like I don't have the singing talent, but I could get out there and vibe it out because it is very much like dun, 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 and then words.
It's all just build-ups and just like fucking riffs.
You definitely could have got.
And look, even if you did fuck it up, the crowd was so into it anyway that like you would have been like, oh, they're singing now.
The time they played at a carrying bar, when they got their bigger guy to get up and do it, he kind of ran out of breath and just let everybody else sing the song at like
and it worked.
His name is Danny.
Yeah,
he's a fun dude.
Yeah, no, he's a great mate.
The amount of people that I knew there.
Yeah, it's crazy
like,
we get in there because like you guys have played with like Radicals and Radicals and Dog Pound a couple times now. Yeah. So like getting in there and like recognizing people is like, oh, this is we're all just being dragged along by our friend.
How's it going, boys? That like we know because I think Dog Pound are a Shire band.
Yeah, Dog Pound are a Shire band, and then like Radicals are kind of a Shire band.
Well, they played a bunch of shows our way.
Yeah.
So like I saw like people I played footy with and stuff like that.
Yeah,
it's funny.
Yeah, it was really cool.
But anyway,
I had to leave though.
I was going to say we're getting spicy on time. So Coby, do you want to wrap up your saga and then we can get into a bit of One Division discussion?
So So Dugan sent me home, told the Uber not to speak to me like a darling. Woke up the next morning. Dugan also fetched my car for me because he's
speak to him. What?
So you know how on Uber you can like choose that I don't want to have a conversation ever.
What the fuck?
You can.
There's an option. You're like,
is so fucking.
What do you mean?
I mean, it is a bit un-Australian to not sit in the front seat and have a conversation about how long he's been doing Uber and what his family's like.
Yeah. That is true, but also I don't want to speak to people.
No, I get that too.
Night, you know. Anyway, got home. Dugan got my car back, and I'm hobbling around the house. And Dugan goes, "I think you have broken your ankle, right?" And I'm like, "It's not broken. I swear to you, it's not broken. I can walk on it. It's like just like the next day, and it's really swollen. Like I fucked it really bad." Anyway, he's like, "We need to get you to a GP." And then Mum was piggybacking off of that and said, "Just go to the ER because there's no GP open on a Sunday." And I'm like, "Oh, fucking fine, let's go." So he drives me there. Sit down, chatting to the guy about how I did it. I'm like, "Oh, I was on stage, jumped, and I fucked up and fell." And he's like, "Oh, you're a muso, are you?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And then the guy that was taking my details and, you know, filing the report then asked me how I did it. And I'm like, "Oh, I was on stage." And he's like, "Oh, you're a musician, are you?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And then I went to the radiologist and then she asked, "So how'd you do it?" And I said, "Oh, I was on stage and I fucked it." And she's like, "Oh, you're a musician, are you?" And I'm like, "Yep." And then the final nurse asked what I did. Joseph, your mic's not working.
What I was gonna say is you had no more blood in your ankle because you had a bone.
Yeah, I was gonna say because it was all on his head because of the volume of his head and his ego. Yeah. But yep, whatever you said.
Anyway, the system, like it was a comedy of errors in the hospital that day because of course it was, where their system was down, so everything was even slower. And this is Liverpool Hospital, which is notorious for being extremely slow.
It's a great place, Liver.
It's a fantastic place. You get some great characters. Anyway, got my X-ray done, and the nurse was coming out and was talking to me, and getting my boots sorted and whatnot, and having a chat, and we were talking, and he's like, anyway, as soon as I finished like the X-ray, the radiologist was like, "We're gonna have to get you a wheelchair because you've fractured it. I have no idea how you've been walking on your foot today. And I'm like, oh, fuck. So Dugan was right that I'd broken my
which
foot.
Which is honestly the most tragic part of all of this, because he doesn't need to like have his ego inflated anymore.
But
No.
he was only half right, because according to the specialist, the nurse, he was chatting to me and he's like, I took a picture of it because the white blood cells that usually attack fractures and stuff like that have already started to form and have formed like enough to know that it wouldn't have occurred last night. So apparently, sometime in the past, I have fractured my ankle. And the x-ray just showed that I have fractured my ankle, but Dugan wasn't right because I had broken it not from the night before, but from a different time, which was probably during netball, because I frequently fall on my ankle poorly at netball.
So what's happened is you've probably done like ligament damage or something, which has caused it to
He's
swell.
done ligament. Yeah, he's done his ligaments.
I can
It's the way his foot ballooned in that.
Rolled it,
certain
mate. You just
spot.
fucking
And I
rolled your
fucking
ankle.
rolled it.
just fucking rolled it.
Anyway,
Rolled it.
well,
mate.
that basically concludes the weekend.
Concludes. Dun.
Yeah. pretty
Rob, well,
much.
no, we all got to
There's
talk
still
about.
there's still so much more we didn't get.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
we're at an hour
Right.
and 5 minutes into
It
this
was-
podcast.
It
What
was
an
an
excellent-
extremely dense weekend.
Well, then we all got blind. Like we all left after. Well, a couple of us left after, and got blind at a pub somewhere after. Like
That's great.
even more.
But Joseph, realistically, how much of that do you remember?
I remember quite a bit of it. Braden
It's
got
good
kicked
fun.
out.
Braden
which
did
is
get kicked
funny.
out for no reason, apparently.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't even that pissed.
We'll go into
We'll
that. We
go
can
into
save it
that.
next week. But we did promise, and we do want to talk about the end of WandaVision.
I
So
know.
Joseph, you haven't watched it. So what I'm going to get you to do is I'm going to get you to deafen, and then I'll like ping you in the Discord when it's time for you to undeafen. In that time, I want you to think of the funniest ending to the podcast we've ever had. So we're going to come back, do all of the outros, and then you're going to deliver the line, and we're going to end the podcast, and that'll be the funniest moment in podcast history. So no pressure.
You have
Okay.
time to think about it. Too.
Okay. So but yeah. So
Okay,
jump on
right.
deafen.
I'll deafen. I'll deafen. Okay.
So WandaVision finale. What did you lads think?
I really liked it. I think it was fucking cool. I reckon, like, visually, it was really entertaining. I think it was really cool to watch and see all the different color schemes and see it all see it all play out. And it was really fucking entertaining seeing Wanda. We're going into spoilers.
Yeah,
aren't we?
yeah, the
We're
full
gonna
full
be
spoilers. If you haven't seen it, sorry, sucks to suck. I'm gonna put up the spoilers graphic on the video. It says spoilers.
It was very, very cool to see her embrace that character and to become the Scarlet Witch.
I thought like the name drop would be cheesy, but that kind of hit for me.
It kind of felt good. It felt real.
Well, that was
So-
that was the week before that. It was
Yo,
named.
yeah. I guess like we're gonna give like spoilers to the series as a whole and like how we think it wrapped up the series as a whole here. I wasn't as high on the final episode. Like I've been loving every episode of the series to date, and I think this last episode was kind of the weakest of the whole show in terms of the fact it kind of went to like the Marvel Phase 1 of like the villain was just a person in different colors with the exact same powers, literally twice. Like Vision fought a Vision,
Yeah.
and then she fought another witch. But like I did like the resolution to the Vision thing with like the ship of Theseus, and like that it wasn't just like them punching each
Yeah.
other. Like that was like a really cool development, like a character thing there. And I think that leaving the White Vision open ended is the fact that they're leaving things open ended is good for like the future, because Marvel does have a villain problem where like the villains are kind of like one note, they get rid of them and then they never come back again.
Yeah.
So if they're gonna start rectifying that, that is good. But I do feel like they spent a lot of the time of the show setting things up, and we're all kind of wondering like how much is actually going to pay off in the show and how much is going to pay off into other things.
I think
And
that's
so
a big
like
question.
Monica Rambeau as being like Photon, she barely did anything in that episode.
Did you see the end credit though?
I did see the end credit. So before we get on that, Coby, what was your like top level thoughts on that episode?
See, so I have the same sort of thing. I think that this was the weakest. I think that it did. I
Like it was
like.
still a good episode, just when the rest of them were fantastic.
Again, I really like the Vision thing as well, because it wasn't just like a laser fight. It was like it was really like the character
learning.
of Vision. Like that's how both of them.
Yeah,
if
like
they
they're
were to fight
both
each other,
ultra smart
would, like-
computers. Like it doesn't make
Yeah.
sense for them to fight each other if they have the exact same power level. Like it was smart
Yeah,
of him.
so-
It was good to show that like the Vision that is the Vision was mentally superior because of like even though it's a fake Mind Stone, like the Mind Stone.
Yeah.
And then there's like a cool distinction between the characters. But it's also cool that the White Vision still possessed like the logic to understand, like, oh shit, like, yes, this thought experiment, I am still a computer, and then when the memories were unlocked, what's gonna happen? Very cool.
Very cool to see.
But it was also that thing that I've been hammering on about, how I didn't like the outside story stuff.
I hated that it kind of proved you right.
This episode did prove me right, because like Monica Rambeau, for as much as a good character as she was, like I liked the actress.
And she's gonna be awesome in the future. She just wasn't awesome in the show.
It was like you could like completely take her out of this story. Like you could take away the entire sword plot of this story.
You could replace her with Kat Dennings and it would have just been the same story.
Yeah, or like take sword out of the equation completely, and like sure there would still be some unexplained things, but you could also just have it be you could not have the outside element. It could also just be something else inside, which, you know, would be more fun to see. And like that's, you know, obviously that's not the product we got.
Well, and there is like other complications that we would have felt like cheesy, like how come these people are awake for no reason, like things like that, which I'm sure they could have written around, but also like TV show on a TV show budget with TV show time.
So, you know, but on the whole, I think that this was a really good series. I liked it a lot more than I should have, because they did something different. It was just that this episode felt like they had to conclude it like a Marvel movie.
Exactly. It felt like a step back. We got like the big CG fight, and obviously on a TV show budget, it couldn't look as good as like when you go from Endgame to this. Like obviously, it doesn't look as good. It still looked serviceable, but like when like the visions were fighting, you could tell it was like, oh, this is a CG character.
Some of the movements were definitely like uncanny valley kind of movements with how quick they were turning, and
I was getting upset with like the Wanda Agatha fight where it was kind of like she was just throwing like different colored laser balls at each other. Until like I'm happy that they pulled out and it was like she was casting the hexes on the hex.
Yeah.
At least like they did that, because it was starting to feel very Phase 1.
Yeah.
But what was your guys' thoughts on like her having to say goodbye to Vision and the kids again and stuff?
Big sad.
Very big sad.
Yeah, that was good. I liked everything like outside the main complication of this episode was really good, I feel. Which was like the ending basically, because so how she like says goodbye and comes to terms with it, and it's this big learning moment. And it kind of, you know, the end credit scene where she hears the kids speaking is like...
Yeah, so do one of you want to run us quickly through what the end credit scenes were?
So the first one was like a shot of it was like a shot of a house where Wanda is...
No, that was the second one.
That was the second one?
The first one was in the theater.
First one was the theater. So the first one was, you know, it was Jimmy Will and Monica Rambeau kind of wrapping up. Everybody's, you know, doing FBI things and whatnot. And then somebody calls Monica Rambeau to a theater, and it's a Skrull, and she's like, Joseph, we need your help up here. And then it's like, it's got someone whose name rhymes with Jamuel Smaxson needs to see you in space. To see you. And then the second end credit scene was, you know, Wanda was in this cabin in the woods making tea like Thanos, and then there's an astral projection of her reading the Darkhold, and then you hear Tommy and Timmy's voice.
I think it was Tommy and Billy.
Yeah, Tommy and Billy.
Speed and Wiccan.
Yeah.
I hope they come back, because they're really cool characters in the comics. And they were cool in the show. Like obviously, like child actors will be child actors. But even if they go with like she's able to age them up and they're like teenagers the next time we see them, having a proper telepath in the Marvel, like in the MCU, will be awesome, because that's a power set that we don't really have, because that's kind of like X-Men territory. And then having a speedster now that Quicksilver's gone will be good. Are you guys bummed out that the Quicksilver turned out to be nothing? And do you think that it will continue to turn out to be nothing?
I was reading something today that was like Marvel really knew what they were doing with these teasers by like getting the actor to play Quicksilver from the X-Men universe, and then just ended up making it a boner joke, which
Yeah.
like it was one of those things where it's like, okay, come on, you knew what you were doing, and like it's funny. I find it very funny, but you could also like understand why people wouldn't really like that explanation, which is fine. Like it was the last, they had one more episode to answer it, so it was never going to be X-Men. But I'm indifferent.
I do think we haven't seen the end of that though. I'm sure that there'll be something, because we know Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is like the thing that it's going to be the closest to a sequel to this show. And like multiverse is in the title, so I'm sure there'll be like the universe like tied, like these things happen for a reason, that people are tied, something like that. Anyway, you were saying, Kaden?
I feel like it might like play into as more of like a fucking funny joke, but I don't think it will actually have anything to do with him being Quicksilver in the universe of it all.
Yeah,
it'd be interesting to see where they go.
Yeah.
But so because we're an hour 15, this might end up being the longest episode we've ever had. So just final thing, Captain Falcon and the Winter Soldier starts not this Friday but next Friday. Has WandaVision made you more or less excited for that show?
Less excited. I'm not gonna like Falcon and the Winter Soldier at all. I don't think.
I'm excited to see what happens in the scheme of it all. I don't think. Then my assumption is, and I could be flat wrong, is I don't think it will be entertaining, but I think it will help us give some guidance to what the universe is going to be like going forward.
Yeah, no, my thoughts are like coming off WandaVision, it being such like an out there and interesting concept, the kind of more grounded Falcon and Winter Soldier storyline I don't think will grab me as much, especially considering where we've come from, like going off Endgame into this and then going to like a as good as the Winter Soldier was, it's kind of like a lower level premise compared to the things that we moved on to in the MCU. So I'm not sure whether it would grab me as much, but seeing the production value and the care put into this show, I am intrigued. And
definitely,
once the show starts happening, I'm sure we'll talk about it again. But now it's time to bring Joseph back. I'm going to send him a message. While Joseph is seeing my message and coming back, Coby, where can the people find you?
You can find me on Instagram at _55Coby55_ or at South_bound_band, and on Twitter at Coby_55.
Kaden, where can the people find you?
Check me out on Instagram. Check me out with my band, Verum.band on Instagram. Or if you want to look at what shit I get up to in my daily life for whatever fucking reason, just look at Kaden Perk on Instagram. PERK, all one word.
Joseph,
Simple.
It's not time for your funny thing yet, but where can the people find you?
Instagram for my pizza page, via.garibaldi. I highly recommend people look there because it's got pizza and pizza's nice. And I don't even know what my other Insta is, so don't worry about that one. Just go to that one.
F99.
And you can follow
Instagram
me.
is all that's important.
And you can follow me at DanielF737 on Twitter and Instagram. You can follow the Slalt Cast at SlaltCast on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, wherever you want to see us. You can follow us and watch these episodes recorded live every Wednesday, except this week it was on Monday. You can find us at twitch.tv/SlaltCast. You can go to our YouTube, where we don't have a vanity URL yet, so your subscriptions will be appreciated. Just search Slaltcast. Joseph, what is the final piece of comedy to end this episode? Everyone, hold on to your butts. Let me take off the spoilers graphic.
All right. So everyone, what's the deal with airplane food?
That was fucked.
Bazinga! Thanks for listening. Please remember to leave a positive rating wherever you're listening from, and to follow our socials at Slaltcast on Twitter and Instagram.